cutie pies. I am Lanikia, and you are watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is Days of Our Lives edition. Today is Friday. Yay! January the 12th, 2024. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this one a solid 7. There was no fireworks or a huge cliffhanger or anything like that for Friday's episode, but it was still a good episode. Um, Setting up the storylines for what's to come, and I always enjoy that. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm not going to hold you long. We see um, Chad is actually in the park playing with Thomas. And as he's doing this, they're just playing around football. They're having a dad's night. And Alex comes through and he just stands back and he watches them or whatever. And at one point, Thomas threw the ball, or Chad threw the ball. Thomas didn't get it, but Alex is there. And so they start talking because he's like, my dad just called your name, so I know you're not a stranger. He was like, yeah, it's good you keep your eyes open for strangers and everything. And that's how this whole thing starts, where Thomas is like, you want to play football with us? And he was like, okay, I'll play with you guys. And he was like, let's play monkey in the middle. So they start playing football and everything. And then Thomas goes off because he sees a friend or something, and so Chad and Alex sit down and have a conversation, and he was like, "What's going on with you? Because you look like something's up." And he tells him about the whole thing going on with Teresa. And Chad said, "Yeah, that's our biggest storyline right now. The whole thing with Holly and Tate. I know Teresa has to be going out of her mind." And he said she is, and I'm not making it any better. I'm trying to help, but I'm making it worse. And I don't know. I'm dating a woman who has a teenage son who's going through a lot, and I don't know how to navigate. This is new territory for me. And so then he says, "Well, talk to your dad. I mean Justin, because he's had raised teenage sons." He was like, "I can't do it because I've been a jerk to Justin, my fault as well. I'm just so messed up in the head. I'm lashing out at Justin, because I found out Victor was my father." He was like, I'm not doing well." That's what I heard. He said, "I'm not doing well." And so Chad is just like, when he found out Stefano was his father, he was a grown adult as well, and he didn't take it well. So he understands what Alex is going through. But his best recommendation is just to talk it out and work through it. And just get the support from Justin and everyone else, and he'll be okay. So then Thomas comes back and he's like, "Let's play monkey in the middle some more," and that's what they do. But it was a nice scene between these two. When they were not fighting over Stephanie, they could have had like some kind of bro friendship or something. Not what Chad had with Sonny, but anyways, let's move on. So then we see Brady and Teresa. They're still at, what are they at the police station? But y'all, they're still at the police station. And in that holding room or whatever. And um he brings her in dark chocolate, and so she was like, because she told him, "I cannot drink any more coffee." He said, "No, I brought you some dark chocolate because I know that's your favorite." And she was like, "Thank you." And she starts to smell it and smell it and smell it, and then he was like, "You just gonna smell it?" She said, "Yes, because all I can think about is my baby hungry? Is he cold? Is he afraid? Is somebody gonna take his lunch again? Somebody gonna give him a black eye?" She's scared for her child. And he said, "Teresa," and she said, "No, like, I'm his mother and I didn't do enough to protect him. Like, this has stressed her out." And so Brady said, "Well, I'm his father, maybe we shouldn't send him to boarding school. Maybe I should have been there more." They're both feeling guilty and just expressing their guilt. And they both have questions like, "I don't believe he was into drugs, but you never know. What if he was into drugs and he gave Holly the drugs and we just didn't know?" She said, "But we always talked about addiction. What if he went against it?" You know, but on one hand, they know Tate is innocent, but on another hand, there is a small possibility that he's not as innocent as they thought. So they're just stressed out and they're feeling guilty and they're comforting each other. So I don't know, child. I feel bad for them on this with this whole thing as far as when it comes to Tate and this part of it. I do feel bad for them about that because I mean, who would want to go through this as a parent? Who would want to go through that? And I an important storyline to tell from all the different angles of it, and not just. I'm glad that they don't just 100% have them feeling like, oh, it's not. He wouldn't do it. No way, no how. Because there always is a small percentage of you that'll be like, well, what if they did? What if this happened? So, I'm enjoying this storyline. Because of that, I know some people don't like the teen storyline, but I do. I've always liked the teen storylines, just because you have to bring that new generation up. So let's move on, y'all. Then we go and we see, oh, so they continue to talk, and Teresa ends up offering um Brady, because after they talk to each other and they both make each other feel a little bit better about what's going on with Tate, she offers him some of her chocolate. I said, "Now, Teresa, you're gonna have to give me a piece that's been in the wrapper, because you unsmelt this piece, put your hands all over it." Like, girl, no, I don't want that piece. Let's move on. So then we see EJ and Nicole. So EJ and Nicole are talking. They're at the Demira Mansion, right? And they're talking, and as they're talking to each other, they they start bringing up things about Holly, and how she was drinking. They say there's no change with Holly. She called, and they said there's no change, and she said, but that was the last 5 times I called. So Nicole has packed Holly, a little bag and everything to make it feel a little bit more homely, but and also herself a bag. But they're talking about everything that's went on with Holly, and Nicole said, I'm starting to think that maybe I didn't know her as much as I would have thought, and maybe she needed more help than I thought, because she was drinking. She did end up drunk on Christmas Eve, and EJ said, how do you know about that? And she said, I found her in the park. Oh, I found her upstairs, and then we went for a walk and stuff, and that's how I found out about it. And he was like, okay. And then he said, I actually found out from Johnny, because he told her he already knew that. And she was like, how did you know? He was like, she drunk down Johnny. And this all comes about because he tells Nicole that he saw Eric with her, and he trying to be insecure about it. And she said, no, 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 EJ, I don't have time for that right now. I don't have time for your insecurities. Eric is a father to Holly, and that's just what it is. That he loves her. She loves him. They love each other like father and daughter. And that's what it is. And he says, I know, and I shouldn't be insecure in bringing this to you now. So they talk about that, right? And so she said, and Nicole is just like, I don't know, maybe she was into something and I wasn't really paying attention. So EJ said, oh Lord, I hate to bring this up. And she was like, what? He said, I spoke to Rafe earlier, and Rafe told me that he was talking to Holly's friends at high school, and at school, and they said that they dabble in some weed, and she was into it as well. And Nicole was like, wait, what? And they was like, yeah. And so now Nicole is feeling guilty, and they're both like, well, what if she was on something stronger? And they said, but Nicole was like, but pot isn't illegal. And he just said, yeah, it is if you're not 21. Because she was like, it's legal here. And he's like, not if you're not 21. That's illegal. And so now Nicole is just worried that Holly could have been in something more. And he says, well, also, she said, well, what if she was into pills? What if she did go to something stronger? Because those kids wouldn't admit that to the police. And so now she's just stressed out about that. And but anyways, he says, like, let's not think about this now. Let's just go to the hospital. But when Nicole leaves out, EJ is like, ooh, what if Tate is telling the truth? Yes, get him out of. The least you could do is put the little boy on bail until y'all figure this all out. So then we see Eric is at the hospital with Holly, and he's just talking to her. He's like, I remember the first time you called me dad. He's just sitting with her and talking with her, and everything. And that's when Nicole and EJ come in. And EJ was like, "Oh, Eric, you're here." And he was like, "Yeah, they told me you and Nicole left to, get get refreshed, freshen up and just take a break." And so I came in because I didn't want her to be alone. And so they thank him for being there. And EJ was like, "I can go get some coffee if y'all want to." And they was like, "No, EJ." Eric tells him, "You're her stepfather, so you should be here as well." So they're there. There's been no change with Holly. And EJ tells Nicole, I made a phone call, and the people in Italy, they say they can't guarantee anything, but they say it's promising. So maybe we should look into sending her to Italy to get the help she needs. And of course, Nicole is just like, I don't, I want to talk to Kayla about it, and I don't know, like taking her all the way to Italy. I, I don't want to be that far away from her, and everything. And so oh no. EJ is just like, well, it's just an option. And then Eric tells them, do you want guys want to pray? And so they're like, yeah, let's go ahead and pray. So they end up praying with each other and everything. And yeah, it was a nice moment between the three of these. So they end up praying with Holly. And then while that's going on, we have Harris who is trying to get to the bottom of who is pushing these drugs. So Harris and Kate make a visit to Statesville to see Lucas. And while Lucas is there, perfect. While Lucas is there, sorry, my mind went to something else real quick. Um, he's just like, "Oh, it's you." And his mom was like, "Well, dang, Lucas." He said, "Well, it's the middle of the night, this after visiting hours, so I was wondering who could possibly be trying to see me." He was like, "Is something wrong for you to be doing this?" And she says, "No, there's somebody you need to see." So Harris comes in, and Lucas like, "You tried to kill Hope and all." I said, "Lucas, now you are in prison. How are you going to be judgmental?" I'm sorry. I'm just saying. So, anyways, he's just like talking to Harrison and Hope. It's Hope. Kate had to remind him that remember it was Harris that rescued me from Dimitri, and she was like, "Oh, okay." He was like, "Okay, I guess I'll trust him." So they asked Lucas to the Harris tells him why he's there. He needs his help finding out who on the inside is pushing these drugs. And he tells him, snitches get stitches. Well, in here, you end up in body bags. No, I'm not doing it. You know how many times I almost got popped when I helped them try to bring down Orpheus? I'm staying out of the way. And the last time, he was informant, he was like, I'm staying out of the way. I'm not doing it. And they understand because it's dangerous, and they completely understand. Harris does tell him I would keep you safe, as safe as possible if you did do this for us. And he was like, I'm just gonna be a good boy, keep my head down, do what I have to do, and then get out of here. And they was like, okay, we understand. And Kate said, I miss you terribly, your family, your children, everyone misses you, but I understand your decision because it's too dangerous. And so Harris is like, I'm gonna give Lucas some tips about what to do while we're gone, because when they were about to leave, Lucas is like, well, maybe I'll do it. And Kate is like, no, no, no. So Harris tells Kate, can you please go tell the guard that we're coming out? And so when she leaves, um, Lucas tells Harris, you don't have any tips for me. He said, no, I'm just telling you, if you do this, we will keep you safe. And he was like, do you know Holly Jonas? He was like, Nicole's daughter? What about her? And he told him she overdosed. And of course, Lucas is like, no, I gotta help. I gotta try to do something. And so Kate comes back in, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Harrison talked you into this." And Lucas says, "I'm gonna try to help mom." And she was like, "Just be safe." And he was like, "Okay." And they tell Lucas, make a little noise. And he tells them, "Get out of here. I'm not a rat. I'm not gonna help you. I'm not gonna do anything." And so they leave. And that was Days of Our Lives today, guys. It is the weekend. Y'all be safe, be blessed. Bundle up for those of us in the area that's about to get snow, and we're not used to snow. Bundle yourselves up, guys, and be safe. I will see you guys on Monday. Y'all know how Texas is when it comes to snow. We're not used to it, so sometimes like the electricity goes out and the water and all of that. So if you don't see me Monday, then you know I have no electricity. But otherwise, I'll be here. Uh, Again, it's the weekend. Be safe, be blessed, and enjoy yourselves. I will see you Monday for all new episodes of What Happened on the Soap Days of Our Lives edition. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.